Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matters to we the people. A research dossier compiled by the so-called Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance states that China intentionally hid or destroyed evidence of the coronavirus outbreak, resulting in the loss of tens of thousands of lives around the world. The 15-page document from the intelligence agencies of the US, Canada, the UK, Australia and New Zealand was obtained by Australia's Daily Telegraph newspaper and states that China's secrecy amounted to an assault on international transparency. The dossier touches on themes that have been discussed in media reports about the outbreak of the virus, including the initial denial that the virus could be transmitted between humans, the silencing or disappearing of doctors who tried to speak up, the destruction of evidence in laboratories, and refusal to provide live samples to international scientists working on a vaccine. Specifically, the file notes that China began censoring news of the virus on search engines beginning December 31st, deleting terms including SARS variation, Wuhan seafood market and Wuhan unknown pneumonia. 3 days later, on January 3rd, China's National Health Commission ordered virus samples to be either moved to designated testing facilities or destroyed, while simultaneously enforcing a no publication order related to the disease. Perhaps most damningly, the dossier states that Chinese authorities denied that the virus could be spread between humans until January 20, despite evidence of human-human transmission from early December. The dossier is similarly unsparing about the World Health Organization, stating that it toed the Chinese line about human-to-human transmission, despite the fact that officials in Taiwan raised concerns as early as December 31, as did experts in Hong Kong on January 4. As of Friday night, the World Health Organization's official Twitter account still featured a tweet from January 14 that stated, "Preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese authorities have found no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the novel." At the same time, the dossier states that throughout February, Beijing pressed the US, Italy, India, Australia, Southeast Asian neighbors and others not to protect themselves via travel restrictions, even as China imposes severe restrictions at home. At the same time, the file states, millions of people left Wuhan after the outbreak and before Beijing locked down the city on January 23. The dossier continues the litany of Chinese defensiveness, stating, as EU diplomats prepare a report on the pandemic, China successfully presses Brussels to strike language on China disinformation. Similarly, as Australia calls for an independent inquiry into the pandemic, China threatens to cut off trade with Australia. China has likewise responded furiously to the US calls for transparency. The Telegraph does present one point of divergence between the allied governments, with Australia believing the virus most likely originated in the Wuhan wet market, with the chances it accidentally leaked from a lab at 5%. By contrast, Fox News reported April 15 that US intelligence officials are increasingly confident that coronavirus likely originated in a Wuhan lab as a consequence of China's attempt to demonstrate that its efforts to identify and combat viruses are equal to or greater than the capabilities of the United States. President Trump said Thursday that he's seen evidence suggesting the virus came from a lab after Fox News and others asked if he knew of anything that gave him confidence that the outbreak originated in the Wuhan Institute of Virology. "Yes, I have," he replied, "and I think that the World Health Organization should be ashamed of themselves because they're like the public relations agency for China." Multiple sources previously told Fox News that it is believed standards in Wuhan were disregarded before the virus leaked, prompting Beijing to initiate a cover-up. Sources also claimed the World Health Organization was complicit from the beginning in helping China cover its tracks. The WHO and China have denied any wrongdoing. The Telegraph also reported that key figures at the Wuhan Institute of Virology previously worked or trained in Australian government labs, where they conducted research on pathogens in live bats as part of an ongoing partnership with the Chinese Academy of Sciences. According to the dossier, the team's work at the Wuhan lab involved discovering samples of coronavirus within a cave in Yunnan province and synthesizing a bat-derived coronavirus that could not be cured. Let us know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share and subscribe. And check out DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest in news. Until next time.
We live in a alien nightmare. We live in a alien nightmare.